Hello, and welcome back to Nick's Vintage Book Chat. Um, if you watched the first episode, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry it's a little bit disjointed. I'm not used to talking to the camera, but I'm hoping as we carry on, I'll get a little bit more comfortable. Um, but if you did watch the first one, thank you very much. I hope you carry on watching them. So, the second book that I'm going to be doing today is The Groote Park Murder by Freeman Wills Crofts. Great name, by the way. You don't get names like that today, do you? It's another detective novel, whodunnit. As I said last time, there will be a lot of these vintage detective fiction books that I talk about. It is my particular passion. I love reading these books, and if I can introduce a few more people to them, that's going to be all to the good. So, The Groote Park Murder, Freeman Wills Crofts, written or published in 1923. One of his first books. Freeman Wills Crofts, he was born in Dublin, and he trained as an engineer and worked originally as an engineer, and I think he did probably did the writing in his spare time, but eventually he packed in engineering and he wrote full time, and he was a prolific writer. I think for the last 30 years of his life or so, we were writing a book a year. His most famous creation is Inspector French. I've read a few of his books with Inspector French. This is a series of books with the same character. They're very good. Might review some of these later on in another episode. But today I'm doing The Groote Park Murder. A standalone book, one of his first that he did, I think. Standalone just means it's not part of a series, so the characters in this are just in this book. They don't appear anywhere else. I don't think they do anyway. The book is set in two parts. The first part is set in South Africa, where a mutilated corpse is found in a railway tunnel. It looks like an accident at first, but the Inspector Van Dam, who's assigned to the case, starts looking into it and quickly realises that there's more to it than meets the eye, and he suspects foul play, and he's basically proved right. So he starts looking into it, and he finds that there's quite a lot of suspects, quite a lot of leads to follow up, and a lot of the first part is him doing his investigation. He's very methodical, very conscientious, no stone unturned sort of bloke. Even if he's got a lead that looks as though it's going nowhere, he'll follow it up until the end, until he until he's sure that it's not going anywhere. So as I say, he is very workmanlike. It's quite pedestrian first half a little bit, 'cause it's a lot of police procedure. It's well constructed and well written. It might leave you a little bit dry, but I found it quite easy to read. And at the end of the first half of the book, the first part of the book, he decides that he's got his man and sends him to trial. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything that happens, because you might want to read it, and I hope you do. But in the second part of the book, it moves on a couple of years, and it's set in Scotland. And it's pretty similar to the first half. It's a different inspector, Inspector Ross. There's an attempted murder. This is all connected with what happened in South Africa. A lot of the characters have moved from South Africa to Scotland. And so, as I say, there's an attempted murder. Inspector Ross starts looking into it, and he finds a connection between what happened with the corpse in South Africa to what's happened in Scotland. And it's pretty similar to Inspector Van Dam in South Africa. Very diligent, very hard-working, leaves no stone unturned, travels miles and miles following up leads everywhere. He's quite a good. I preferred Inspector Ross to the Inspector Van Dam. He's a bit more wily and he's a bit more sneaky. he pretends to be different people to inveigle himself into people's houses and interrogate them. So he don't go by the book a lot of the time, but he gets results. And so he ties it all up into a neat bundle by end and realises that the corpse in South Africa, which were found in railway tunnel at the start, is connected with these people in Scotland that he's come across, and he winds it all up pretty nicely. I won't tell you what happens because it's a good read. It picks up its second half. First half, it's a little bit, pedestrian, I suppose. It kept me reading it, but I always wanted it to kind of speed up a little bit. But once it gets to Scotland, it really picks up. It seems to pick up speed, and there's a bit more action in it. And I did prefer the second half. That could be something to do with me personally. My personal preference when reading these books, and I've read a lot of these Golden Age detective novels, I actually prefer the ones that are set in Britain. I've got to admit, a lot are set in continental Europe, but I actually prefer books that are set in Britain. I don't know why. It's just my particular preference. Whether I relate more to the country I live in, I don't know, but it might be different for you, I don't know. But I did enjoy the book. It's very well constructed, as all his books are. I've read quite a few Freeman Woolcroft books, and they're all really well constructed, well written. The characters are well rounded. He really knows his stuff. He's a good writer, a very, very good writer. It was very well esteemed by other writers, like Raymond Chandler really held him in high regard for his construction and his plotting. So he was well regarded by other writers. They had a lot of respect for him. Apart from, I think it was Julian Simons, who he wrote quite a few books. He found him a bit, what did he say now? Humdrum, I think he described him as. I won't go that far. I won't class him as humdrum. I think he's a really good writer, and it keeps you turning page. You want to know what's happened. That's what I find with a good detective and a good whodunit. You want to know what's happened, and that keeps you turning page. I always think that's a sign of a good book. If you don't really care and you're not invested in characters, I can't see the point of reading it. But I ain't come across many books like that at all. You know, they're usually well written, and they usually keep me interested. They really do. This one certainly did. I wanted to know what happened, and the characters, you relate to them, and you not like them, but you find you're rooting for some of them, and others that you're thinking, oh, he's a bit of a wrong, and I hope he did it. As I said last time, I can never guess what's happened. I could read thousands of these, and I still can't guess. There's a good twist at the end of this, and once I'd read it, I thought, oh yeah, I never saw it coming. You probably will if you read it. Maybe a bit more astute than I am, maybe. But I just love reading them. I think that's probably why I do love reading them, because I never know what's coming up next page. It always surprises me. So that's it. The Groote Park Murder by Freeman Wills Crofts. And just a note on this particular copy, it's a modern day reprint, as you can see, reprinted by the Detective Story Club, and you can always know a Detective Story Club book by the logo. Don't know if you can see it there. The man with the gun is their logo. They started publishing books in 1920s. Wanted to publish really top-notch crime and detective fiction books, and they're a well-renowned publishing stamp. So it's a nice cover. The artwork's really nice, and often it's artwork that often attracts you to a book, isn't it? I know a lot of modern books are quite colourful and lurid, some of them, aren't they? But often it's a cover that you think, oh yeah, that's a nice cover, that's a good book. You know, and when you see that cover, the fella there, startled, you know, you think, oh, looks an interesting book. So it's a nice book. It's a good, lovely copy. I think I bought this at a book fair somewhere. I can't remember. But they're not hard to get hold of, his books, Freeman Wills Crofts. You can find them in second-hand bookshops, pretty regular. Book fairs, you'll find quite a lot of them. And the old internet, there's loads of them. A lot of them are reissued, just like this one's been. And so that's this week's book, The Groote Park Murder by Freeman Wills Crofts. Any comments, any recommendations, please send them in or leave them, wherever you leave them, and I'll have a look. Be much appreciated. It'd be nice to know somebody's watching. But if I can introduce people to these authors who've been not overlooked for a long time, but they have fallen into obscurity, a lot of them. Let's be honest. I'd never heard of a lot of them till I started reading golden age detective fiction. They really are worth seeking out. They're good books. They really are worth reading. The Groote Park Murder, Freeman Wills Crofts. Thanks very much. Bye.